Howdy, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Faab Five campaign here on the Random Rhapsody Network. I'm Matthew R. Dawson, your friendly neighborhood host and GM, and joining me around my virtual table today are Joe, Jeremy, Koines, and Kyle. Say hi, everyone.
How you doing?
Now, don't forget, we have our Halloween one-shot coming up in a couple of weeks. It's going to be on Sunday, October the 23rd at 4 p.m. Central, and we're doing a level 20 adventure called The Hunt for the Trask. Should be a lot of fun, and it's going to be hosted by Kyle Thomas here.
Hey.
Also, Alyssa Egan, who is not with us today, and I will be playing in a special charity one-shot on Saturday, November 5th for Extra Life, which is an online grassroots movement working to save local kids through the power of play. It's going to be on the Bard Rock Cafe Twitter, and I'll be putting out a lot more information as the event comes closer, which you can find out by checking out our Twitter page, which is @random_Rhapsody. Okay, that should do it for the announcements. So join us as we dive into the world of Loroupa and continue on with the adventures of the Faab Five. Well, we are back. So when we last left off, the Faab Five had traveled to the port city of Velena to prepare themselves for their upcoming trip to Ilmithica. While Apollyon tried out some manual labor and Liam spent the afternoon with his horse, Blood and Eloise used their day to investigate around Mitchell's former shop. They ended up spotting a suspicious man following them, but the moment they tried to question him, he suicided. But unfortunately, the events leading up to that also caught the attention of a crowd, and it wasn't long before the pair were surrounded by questioned by some guards. An explosion at the wharf caused everything to change, however. Everyone, including the guards, raced down to the docks where a gigantic water elemental was wreaking havoc upon the boats moored there. Kind of lost my place there for a second, sorry.
Havoc with the boats.
Yep. Chaos further ensued as the massive Leviathan sent a humongous tidal wave crashing down into the city. The battle was fierce and complicated, with most of the squad caught up by the current while Veil managed to avoid it by teleporting from rooftop to rooftop to stay above the water. Liam, in his boat, managed to take out quite a bit of the creature with his bow. Apollyon, flying around the Leviathan with his wings, stabbed at it with his trident, and Veil on the rooftops throwing spells, while Eloise carried Blood in her arms to snipe at the thing. Like I said, it was chaotic. But the team managed to bring down the behemoth that had been decimating the docks. The death toll was catastrophic after this. The tidal wave caused by the creature left dozens dead and floating in the harbor. So, Eloise and Apollyon work together to fly around with a net and start bringing the bodies into shore. The sight of which caused Veil to quite literally leap off the top of the inn he was standing on, which broke his legs in the process. About that time, Blood also spotted a wizardy-type gnome lamenting his failure near the docks. And while Blood tried to intimidate an explanation from the gnome, this only caused the small man to turn invisible and run away instead. And so, Faab Five, by the time Blood had magically healed Veil's legs enough for him to walk, Apollyon and Eloise had managed to pull quite a few bodies onto the shore and had lined them up to keep them safe and out of the water for identification. Veil, of course, immediately tried to go over and turn them into zombies, but this was also about the time that the city guards started to arrive at the scene to figure out exactly what happened. Blood and Eloise stopped the necromancer in the process of raising them, but as Blood went off to try to explain what had happened, Veil instead decided to pull a few of his already raised zombies up out of his portable hole to assist him in moving, which of course caused an even bigger commotion to erupt, and ended up with Necthros Veil being locked in irons and arrested, while the rest of the group was collected as well. And so, as you are all currently being, or at least most of you being escorted away from the scene, a question does come to each of your minds. And that question is, what aspect of your character's future are you the most curious about? And since Apollyon, you're the one who rolled, why don't you go ahead and tell us first?
Well, Apollyon's future holds only victory, so I must be curious of who the strongest in this world is, because that's who I want to fight, so I can come out on top, and Apollyon will be known as the strongest in the whole world.
Well, you did just meet a pretty strong dragon, I will say.
Yes, Father is strong, but I will beat him one day too.
Fair enough. Blood from a Stone, how about you?
Well, with the dreamer potentially coming back, and my people's belief that he is the one that brought us here to this world, if he comes back, is that going to rear up all of the ugly negativity that was brought against my people after the wars? I mean, things are much better now, but we are essentially in refugee camps in the Margon Federation. What's going to happen if he comes back and they start remembering who used to be on his side at one point? Now, we were slaves, but we were still part of his army. What's going to happen to my people?
Interesting thought. Necthros Veil, how about you?
Veil is he's looking down at his irons and wondering, will these irons contain me in the future, or will I be above physical resistance and restraint and just kind of move on to the next level of my being? And he's just curious as to how far he will go between the veil of the living and the dead when it's all coming to a conclusion.
Interesting thought. Yeah, you know, those binds that are currently on your arms, those are some interesting things, but we'll get into that in a moment. Instead, Liam, what about the future for you?
Right, it may be a bit selfish to wonder about oneself in the future, but I made a promise to go back to Bradfordshire after all was said and done. But I also helped stop the spread of, so I have no idea what my punishment is, and I would like to know what I'm getting myself in for.
Yeah, that's a good question as well. Like it. I like it. Okay, Faab Five. Well, by the time Blood had sorry, I'm having a day. It's been a long week, let me just tell you. So anyway, here's where things kind of get complicated. With an attack of that magnitude hitting the city, pretty much every capable person among the populace eventually would show up to lend aid. You know, retired adventurers, guards, the more elite soldiers, local wizards, the Conclave members, of course, etc. You get the picture. With Necthros Veil pulling zombies out of a portable hole in the middle of a street at a scene of a devastating monster attack, well, it's definitely a suspicious sight to be sure. So while I doubt any of Veil's companions are surprised by this fact, I can't help but imagine the confusion on Veil's face as he is quickly surrounded by guards, has guards.
Oh shit!
Like I said, it's been a week. Anyway, surrounded by guards, has oddly runed manacles slapped on your wrist, and there's a general call to collect everybody at the scene while other guards begin investigating and seeing what's going on. Now, Blood, you had stepped up to speak to the guards first, and Apollyon, you had been pulling bodies out of the water and arranging them on the shore. So the two of you are definitely collected by the guards as well. Though I imagine, Blood, you thought, like, when they first approached you, that you're just being arrested. Yeah. Yeah, your hands up. You're like,
position.
But they're just more like, no. We just need you to come talk with us. But the two of you are definitely collected by the guards, though neither of you are clasped in irons. You're simply invited to follow, and then surrounded by some blue-hooded guards who patiently wait for you to follow. Now, Eloise, who's not here, but you, Liam, are here, so while the rest of the group is being grabbed, the two of you were actually standing, they're sitting over there on the pier after Eloise had helped pull you, Liam, your boat to shore. Mm-hmm. So it's up to you if you want to just go with everybody else, or you could also attempt to meld back into the crowd instead of going with the guards if you wish. It's kind of your choice on what you want to do. And I will just say that Eloise is going to follow your lead.
Sure. First step, I call out, "Ferme!" And that folds up the boat into a little 2-pound, 3-pound little box again, and I hang on my belt loop. Mm-hmm. And then I go, "Eloise, we need to find Gravel. He took off in the other direction. I hope he's okay." And with that, we blend back into the crowd because I don't think I didn't. Yeah, I'm after Gravel no matter what. So even if I see him in clasped in irons, like, Blood's got that.
Fair enough. Then why don't you go ahead and give me a stealth check, and we're going to have Eloise roll one as well.
She doesn't have the boots anymore, but you do, so yours is an advantage. No, Veil's got them. Sorry,
Veil has them.
Sorry. Yeah. But you're still pretty good, but she doesn't have advantage anymore.
Nope, that's a 2. I rolled a natural 2.
Yeah, well, she rolled a nat 9, so it's not great. The two of you grab onto Eloise and you start pushing backwards, but a pair of those blue cloaked guards look at you and say, "No, hey, you two, folding that boat up. No, you two, you're here as well. You need to come with us."
They don't know what that boat was.
I was just, I didn't.
Come
I
on!
didn't do anything this time.
And a bunch of people are now starting to come running around you, and they're like, "No, you come on now. You are down here at the scene. Look at you. You're soaking wet. It's obvious that you are here. You need to come with us."
I was attacked. Fine. I go with them. I'm not gonna fight.
You can try to persuade your way out if you want to.
No. Given that they saw me, they recognized me, they called me out, I'll go with them. That's fine.
Fair enough. Okay. So you're collected as well, and your entire group is led back north into the city. After quite a bit of walking, Veil, during that time, like, do you try to cast any spells as you're being led through the city?
So as I look at the runes on the manacles, can I tell what they are?
Make an Arcana check.
Okay.
What happened to the zombies in the hole, Matt?
You go ahead and make a perception check as well.
Okay.
For anybody?
25 Arcana.
Well, I guess blood would have been there, so.
Yeah, anybody who wants to look to see what's happening can.
17.
15.
So, Veil, you definitely recognize the writing on these runes. It's complicated, but you're positive that these actually inhibit the arcane magic. It's impossible to cast a spell while wearing this. It'll just absorb the magic and dissipate the spell.
So yeah, I would know that, and I wouldn't attempt any spells.
That's fair. As for the rest of you, both Liam, you and Blood would be able to see that as you're being led away, those zombies are being shoved back in the hole by some guards, and they're folding up the portable hole.
All right, fair enough.
Okay. You are led through the city, and since everybody's going cordially, it doesn't take very long. About an hour later, you're led to a tall building that's actually not far from the Conclave outpost, you realize. It's a tall rectangular building made of solid looking gray stone with doors and windows, shutters, all made of darkly weathered iron, giving the overall appearance of a place that's rather gloomy. The gallows that are to one side of the grounds, which actually does have a concrete wall surrounding, does not change this impression at all. Yes, yeah, it definitely adds to the aesthetics of the overall place. Once you're led inside, you come to you find yourself in a bit of a like a. What's the word? A main office building for the cops, like tons of desks all over the place. It's
just the war room, police headquarters.
Yeah,
Scotland
basically,
Yard,
yeah. A big wide open room filled with desks and people sitting at there. A big bar in the front with a guy that's taking people's anytime they come in, they check in with this guy at the front. There's little window enclosed areas that you guess is probably like the more important people's offices, and then there's quite a few doors towards the back. Once you step inside, your group is actually separated, with Veil being taken towards the back almost immediately, while the rest of you who did not resist are brought into a comfortable chamber with a small iron stove to one side that has a fire in it, and it's going quite warmly. It also has a table, several chairs that's occupying the center. Now, Veil, you on the other hand, are led by 6 individuals in blue hoods and wearing chainmail through a door and down a long hallway that snakes around to what you assume to be the center of the building. You're led through a door that opens to a stairway leading down to a single corridor that leads further still down to a single barred cell door, which the guards unlock with a key from a cloak pocket. You are then led inside the chamber, which is a 20-foot wide and 30-foot tall room, completely unfurnished and of solid gray stone. And as you step through the doorway threshold, you are surprised by a purple glow flaring into existence from above you. Now you look up, and on the ceiling you can make out an arcane circle that has been chiseled into the ceiling, which is emanating the purple light. You kind of get the impression that's probably pretty similar to what you're wearing on your wrists.
Yep.
You are led inside, and the 6 guards follow it as well. The last one actually has a stool that's it's carrying. The one in the lead, who is a dwarven man, brown beard, braided, short cropped hair, and that's kind of been slicked back. He looks very professional looking as he's pulls his hood back. He says to you, As you are found in control of animated corpses, you are being placed in a field of anti-magic. As a precaution, you will remain inside this field for the duration of your stay. He then steps aside, and all 6 of the guards are now standing in the room. The door is locked. Of the 6, 4 are dwarves, each with a different colored beard, and at least one of whom appears to be a woman. You can tell at least a little bit. They're wearing chainmail, Each, as I said, each one has different colored hair and beard. Of the other 2, one is a tiefling man, and the other is a half-orc female. The one addressing you, like I said, was a gray-bearded individual, which you're looking at. That's the woman. She has a scar over one eye and a pair of short swords at her hips. Now, none of the other guards have treated you roughly or unkindly since you chose not to resist arrest. So the tone of the voice of the lead guard that's talking to you is even. I'm not going to make you roll an insight check to tell you that they're kind of seem like they're doing this as a matter of as their duty, and it's just a matter of routine. Now, okay. From there, your items are confiscated. Just straight up. You have no real way to resist. There's far too many of them. You can try to fight if you want to, but chances are you're not going to, and you would know that. So your items are taken from you. Your arms are unshackled. They make you remove all your clothing down to your skivvies, and you're given a very thorough search before you are given a simple pair of pants and a shirt as a replacement for your garments. Everything that you had on you is relieved of your person and is laid out on the floor, and you kind of watch as they sit there and write down every single item, a description of which that they found on you, and they write it all down on a piece of paper. They pick them up, put it all into a box, and then they put down the stool for you to sit on. Do you do anything during this time?
So during the inventory, is there a way I could make sure that everything that they're writing down is in fact everything that is being confiscated?
You absolutely can. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
Let us steal it back.
Perception. That's a 20.
You are actually kind of impressed. They write down in common every single solitary thing that they find on you, including like bag of coins. How many coins are actually there? Because I imagine not all of it's on your person, most of it's in your portable hole, but they still count like every single solitary thing, write down the exact number, put that in. Like they even kind of like subcategorize it from where they found the items. It's pretty damn thorough.
Very thorough.
Yeah,
very
they're
impressive.
They are 100% professionals. They're honestly treating you as a matter of routine, like I said. So, very, very thorough.
So, all right. So, Veil is going to talk, and he's basically going to say, in a very as charming as he can way, no hint of sarcasm, rudeness, or just Veil's normal self. So he's just saying, I understand you're just doing a job, and you did explain to me the reason why I'm being detained. This is all very new to me. I'm just as surprised as you are seeing what happened. And I gesture down to my legs, which I'm assuming are still pretty beat up.
Oh yeah, they're definitely like bruised and very dark looking.
Yeah. I'm going to say, I'm not really sure how your system works, and me talking to you is just me trying to clear the air. I know you guys aren't the judge, jury, and executioner, but I do want to just explain that what you saw was, those were my helpers assisting me. I come from a land down under, and this whole world is bizarre to me up top. I do want to, if you could relay the message to whoever is going to be deciding this, my future, that I did assist in the saving of this city with the Leviathan attack. I understand there are many, many casualties, but I am here. I was here to help, and everything he's saying is, I mean, he's being. I wouldn't say he's being deceptive because he is just explaining truth, but you definitely know, like, anybody who would know Veil would know that this is not how he acts. Like, this is no blood wouldn't recognize the tone and the courtesy that he's giving these people.
Now,
Oh,
I mean, me
He's been
personally,
arrested before. He knows exactly what you're doing.
So you can either roll a persuasion or deception based on how you feel Veil is acting right now. If you think like he's trying to butter them up and play off the "I'm not from around here" gig, you absolutely can make a deception check. If you feel like you're more like, no, I really have no clue what's going on, then make a persuasion check.
So I'm going to go with the persuasion, only because one of my in my personality traits, it says I'll do anything to get to my end goal using deception, persuasion, or intimidation. But this is more of a persuasion attempt, I believe. So I'll roll a persuasion.
And as you're doing that, I'm just hearing in the back of my mind, I come from the land down under.
Men at work. All right, so I'm actually, if I'm able, luck isn't magic, right?
It is not. It's just a feature.
Okay, so I'm going to use a luck point and re-roll that persuasion. I mean, 16's high, but I feel
why
like
not?
I can do better.
Yeah, baby.
That's a 23.
Okay. So, you notice, writing on that 20 perception you were doing earlier, that literally every word you said was also written down by one of the guards. They're really fucking thorough, and they're actually taking down everything you say, because it will be used against you in the court of law. Dun, dun. Just had to throw that in. But yeah, as you're saying that, you're making your case, and they at least... The lead guard, the dwarven woman, says, "First time to the surface, isn't it?"
And Veil nods. I've been here a little while, but still getting used to it.
I see. Well, someone will be along to see you eventually. Have a seat.
Okay. And with that, Veil graciously bows and takes a seat on the stool. Just closes his eyes and starts a trance. So I know they searched me thoroughly. However, they don't have access to my wrist pocket, correct?
They do not.
Okay, so the book is safe in there. I just want to let you know that. And
I
Veil's
know.
smart enough to know. Okay, Veil's smart enough to know that he's not going to pull it out with this anti-magic field. He doesn't want to risk anything like that.
Probably a good idea. Like, I imagine there's a little bit of worry, like, if you're in an anti-magic field, would that just immediately pop it out? But it didn't. It actually didn't.
Oh, yeah.
And would the book actually work in an anti-magic? Like, would he gain the knowledge?
Oh, definitely not.
That's another thing. You gotta worry with those
so,
hours. If he spent his time in the Clink alert reading, would it count?
He just mega brain.
Yeah, no, it's just an anti-magic field. It's not going to allow the tattoo to work, so it's just not going to do it. But it's probably better that the guys didn't find it. So there's that.
Because, I mean, you could be as professional as you want, but when you come across something like that...
Yeah.
Everyone's got a price.
Now...
Okay.
Well, they do all leave. They collect all your items. You are able to put on the clothes that they provide to you, which give you at least a little bit of warmth, because it's a fairly cold, dark cell. But at least you have plenty of purple light to allow you to see.
Oh, he probably looks pretty wicked with his gray skin.
Yeah.
Sexier than normal, man.
A little bit of a black light effect going on with that white hair, definitely. But other than that, yeah, you are left alone. You do spot with your passive perception that they do leave 2 guards on the other side of the gate, but they pretty much ignore you. Now, while that's going on, Blood, Apollyon, Rhim, and Eloise. After about 20 minutes of waiting in that conference room, the door is opened, and a tall and very wide gray-skinned form steps into the room. He is dressed in a simple tunic, coat and breeches of dark blue, but what stands out about him is the very large, tent-like ears framing a wide, bald head. He has a long tentacle of a nose and ivory tusks protruding from his mouth, which immediately identify him as a Loxodon, an elephant-kin humanoid that actually come from the southeastern coast of Loroupa. He is carrying a pad of paper and a file, and he sits down across from you all at the table, placing both objects down on the table in front of him as he sits down. He says, "I am Lieutenant Monotonin of the Spellbeards, and I am head of the investigation, I'm heading the investigation into the events at the docks earlier this evening. Would you all please join me?"
Do we hold hands? What do you mean by join you? I mean,
sit down at the he's
whatever you need to know, sir.
He's like,
Keep the hands off me, though.
you know what? I gotta think. Blood's probably already sitting down, palms flat on the table.
Fair enough.
He's like, I've been here before. I know the routine.
Fair enough.
Apollyon's gonna tough. If any of the guards grab his arm to the next area, he's gonna pull intimidation.
Yeah, I can't hear a word you're saying, bud. You kept cutting in and out. I heard something about grabbing a guard's arm.
Well, I think if the guards grabbed his arms, he was
Oh,
going
no.
to intimidate him.
Nobody touched you. They just kind of said, "Hey, come over here, follow us." They surrounded you, but you didn't resist, so they never touched you.
Okay, good. I was just saying, if any of them did touch me, Apollyon was gonna act like a tough guy.
Well, I wasn't planning on having them, but if you want one of them to, I'll certainly say so.
No, not like that.
Okay. But anyway, Lieutenant Montonin
I forgot to tell Veil not to drop the stove.
Lieutenant Montonin says, first of all, I must record your names. Who are you?
My name is...
Isn't it obvious? You don't know who we are? We're the Faab Five.
Apollyon, please.
Eloise!
This is, she said, Miss Eloise Brightcrystal. I am Blood from Stone. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Rhim!
And I'm their leader, Apollyon the Dragon.
But
You can direct all questions to me.
He's just gonna
The Loxodon just, he has those small beady eyes, and he's watching everything just impassively, but he's also, writing everything you say at the same time. He starts off by questioning your group about the docks. When did you arrive there? What happened? What you saw? That sort of thing. We don't have to rehash everything that happened last session. Just let me know. Are you going to just tell them the truth of everything you saw? Are you going to be deceptive about it?
No, Blood will tell them that he and Eloise got there fairly quickly to start acting, and then he'd do, I guess, a play-by-play, whatever the guy wants of what happened. And then he says he would go into the story of the gnome. It was a little gnome, right?
It was a gnome.
Yeah, he would start explaining to him. He's like, now there was a gentleman that ran up saying, oh no, this went all wrong. I never meant for this to happen. And he seemed to heavily imply just that Leviathan, it was some kind of conjuring gone wrong. I was like, he goes, if you'll permit me, I was like, I can show you what he looks like. And then he would use disguise self to change himself. He goes, now he looks just like this, but obviously he was a gnome. He was maybe
much
2.5,
smaller.
3 feet tall. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
And then he'll pop back to tabaxi form.
Okay, yeah. The Luxon definitely takes all of the things you're telling him, and like he does raise an eyebrow over the whole gnome thing. But as you're showing him, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Unfortunately, Blood's the only one that saw him, so he cannot request assistance.
Oh, oof.
That's 7.
Can I let him use a lucky point from me if I go up behind and hug Blood tight? Like, that's right, exactly what he said.
I mean, he'd be like,
So
it's a wild story, but
yeah, I'm just gonna say. No, you cannot use a lucky point to give somebody else a point. That's not how luck works. However, Blood, Anesthetic is in chat, and she did give you her inspiration for today. So if you want to use that, you absolutely can.
Only get better. What?
Watch you get it too.
Oh, that's not bad. 16.
16. That's not bad. He takes everything you say down and. Very interesting. We will, of course, follow up with all of this. The one question I did forget to mention when he was asking your names, like, do you identify the fact that you're a member of the Conclave or not? Or did you?
I wouldn't say it right away.
Okay, I'm just curious.
That's something
I'll mention it.
That's a card we could play later.
That's fair. I was just curious.
But I totally over-exaggerated all the points about the battle. I basically told him that I defeated that monster by myself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't doubt that whatsoever. Does anybody, contradict him? Does anybody...
Oh, yeah. I'll be like, all right, just look at the man's back. You'll understand that he has a flair for the dramatic. So that didn't happen.
What, me? Alien X taken back?
No, buddy. You're the most subtle gentleman in the whole kingdom here, buddy.
Okay, persuasion roll-off.
Persuasion roll off? Okay, sweet.
Yep, that's about right. That's about right.
It's okay, I win because my name is Apollyon the Dragon. These nuts across your face.
But just tap his hand. He's like, "It's okay, buddy. You killed that dragon all on your own. You remember that one."
Yeah. Yeah. Blood's definitely the winner from that one.
Oh my god.
Part of his contradiction of Apollyon is he goes, I understand our colleague, our friend that you have incarcerated. He was quite essential to defeating that creature. Untold devastation could have happened if he was not there to assist us taking it down.
That
maybe let that be part of the record.
That is my next line of inquiry. Can you tell me more about the drow we found at the docks? You said his name was Veil.
Yeah, Necthros Veil. That is his surname. Is Veil. He's a very odd individual. Granted, he's only been on the surface. We met him. I guess he'd look at a pod. He goes, we ran into him, 6 months ago? I guess, has it been about 6 months since the tavern? Maybe even less?
Yeah, somewhere around that. Actually, it's been about 4 months. 4 months.
All right. We
ran into him in that nice little tavern on the side of the road.
We've been traveling with him for a little while, and yes, he does have a very interesting proclivity for playing with things that have passed, but as far as I know, it's something. It's an under. What are they? Underdark? That's where he's from? It's
he's from the land down under.
I would assume it's very common there. We've tried to explain to him that it is not as kosher up here as he might think.
So you are aware that the legalities of raising the dead, and
yes.
you have indeed explained to him these facts.
But
I don't know
he's
if
a
we've
wizard.
ever
This
actually.
is
I suppose that depends
Right?
on your definition of
I don't
the
know if
dead,
we've ever
because
told
they're
him.
not
You know,
dead citizens of your society. So
Yeah.
where does the law define the dead? Because they may just be some random goblins or something that don't have rights. You know how that goes.
well, we've told him that it is looked upon quite negatively up here. Yes, but it is something. I think it might even be part of their religion. I am not. They have a completely different set of gods than we do up here.
The Luxodon, like, he kind of has that eyebrow raise again as he's looking at all of you all, and he says,
He's weird.
The bodily autonomy of all sentient creatures are considered sacred throughout pretty much all civilized societies on Loroupa. Every country has its own version of the same laws, including the Margarden Federation.
Well,
and the
then
Kingdom
I'm
of
curious,
Jura.
if someone has a big cave under your city, does that fall under your purview still?
Granted, we don't
Under
know
a
that there's a
certain
big
point.
cave under your city. Let's just say that out.
Are
right
you
out.
Now, that was more
are you
just a
saying that
curiosity.
are you saying that there's an uprising from the Underdark about to
We
happen?
have no idea.
No.
And no, I don't really. I do not know if that is happening, sir. Let's not make up things, Liam.
Not as long as they get their Vegemite.
Hmm.
Does it change the fact that those individuals that he might have raised were in fact members of a cult that did cause great deals of destruction in Weston, a city within your empire, as well as other areas? I mean, it is well known who these dreamers are.
I'm afraid I've never heard of Dreamer.
If you speak
However,
if you
any
speak to representatives of the Conclave, they could us.
so just so I don't have to do this in voice for the entirety of it. So actually, no, it does. It doesn't matter if you're a cultist or a criminal or anything like that. All the laws are pretty much the same as in regards to raising the dead as zombies. Now, raising them to the living is different because it's all about choice and consent. So that's where the difference lies. Like in pretty much every civilized society, turning a corpse into a zombie is very along the same lines of rape. And because it's taking away bodily autonomy and actually taking away the choice from a person. It's along those same lines.
Hey, what he does with his undead,
Right.
in his own portable hole, is his business.
You know, I understand. I think it's creepy, just like
Yes.
you think it's creepy. But here's what it is to him. He comes from a town where dancing is legal, and he dances all the time. Then he comes up here and he can't dance. See, it's just different rules. There should be some sort of maybe diplomatic immunity for something like that, don't you think?
So go ahead and give me a persuasion check because of the Footloose argument.
I was saying it's diplomatic immunity from fucking
No, he was just fucking.
Lethal Weapon 2? Is that where you pulled that out of?
Yeah. Ugh, I love
Oh.
it. Nope, never mind.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Luxodon is just not buying what you're putting down. But
Can I steal Apollyon's lucky point? Does it work like that?
no, it definitely does not work like that either.
Figured I'd ask. Okay.
Yeah. Then after you're continuing to talk about the merits of zombies, which is not making your group look very good to begin with.
No, I don't even feel good about trying to argue this point.
Yeah. The next question kind of catches you all from left field. He says, "Does the name Ramon mean anything to any of you?"
Nay.
No.
Have you ever?
That I can recall.
Have you ever seen your drow friend in the company of a human man with dark, long hair?
I mean, I've known him
He
for the
travels
last
with
4
us.
months, and he's been with us, and I've never seen the individual you speak of. Maybe before.
Honestly, I'm one of the only
But-
humans he seems to be able to tolerate all that well.
But yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. The name Ramon is not, and that description isn't ringing a bell. So I apologize.
Very well.
He's not very forthcoming with his personal feelings, and yeah, he's a little weird.
Jervy?
Okay. The Luxodon nods and he says, I think it's time for us to take a break. I'll give you a moment to compose yourselves. Would anyone like something to eat or drink while you wait?
I mean,
What kind of refreshments do you have?
Oh God, no! Do not bring alcohol, please.
No,
water
no alcohol.
or tea for this individual. Speaking of our friend Veil, he was actually rather injured in that battle. Is it possible if you could make sure that a healer is seen to him? Because he took a great deal from that fall off the building.
Your friend is being detained right now. His needs will be met. Will be seen.
And I fully understand that. I was just curious if we could get somebody to maybe just his legs were in rather rough shape when I healed him a little bit. If that could be done.
Why did he fall off the building?
Well, it was right there in the aftermath of the battle. I'd assume that he was trying to climb down and he just fell. I didn't see.
Oh, start over.
What?
Yeah, you glitched out for a second there.
Sorry, the hotel Wi-Fi. I didn't see him. I only saw the act of the falling. I didn't see when that happened. So I'm assuming it was just right the aftermath of the battle. I assume he was trying to climb down.
I've seen him fly before. Why would he?
Well, maybe that would have been in some kind of a spell, but I mean, he used spells. He used some of his magic, and he might not have been able to do that at that time, and he had to climb down physically. I don't know. I mean, like I said,
I wish Eloise was here right now because I'm sure she would be going apeshit.
I know, and this is, you know what? This is actually almost better that Alyssa. Sorry, sweetheart, that you're not feeling well tonight.
Yes,
isn't here to make it so much easier. I didn't see him fall, but I just know that his legs were badly broken when I got to him. That's all I was asking. You take it or leave it. So I mean, he might be able to do one of those weird elven trance thingies and heal himself. I don't know.
We will. He is being seen to. Do not worry. We'll see to bringing you in some tea. Just wait here. He gathers up his things and walks out the room. About 15 minutes later, you are all given tea by, a much more basic-looking guard.
Boy, he didn't care at all about Gravel getting away. How inconsiderate.
Did you tell him Gravel got away? I mean,
that was like half of my version of the story was about Gravel. Yeah,
I believe that.
Well, I mean, unfortunately,
I figured I'd spare you guys that.
Gravel and Shadows, the original creature in this campaign named Shadows, by the way, I just wanted to let that known. I'm sure they're just horses to these people. They don't see them as, they are our treasured friends, but they are just horses to them. I'm sure he's fine.
Eloise jumps up and slams her fist down on the table. They are not just animals!
Definitely.
I'm sure he's fine, though.
So, Veil, now you've been waiting in the cell for about an hour or so by this point. But a sound at the bar actually catches your attention. There's a bit of a commotion going on, and South voices can be heard speaking from the other side of the bars. Are you interested in that at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got nothing else to do.
I didn't think you would. Make a perception check, please.
Okay. Ooh. Sounds juicy. I'm gonna burn another luck point on it.
Fair enough.
Drum roll.
I think I clicked it. I guess I'll try again.
My drum roll didn't
last it just came up.
I'm sorry.
Just came up. 17.
17.
Okay. Yeah. So with a 17, you do have your dark vision, which is still effective even in here. You don't have the full vision, but you still have your 60. And you see one of the dwarven guards, one of the men, standing next to a thin and lanky human man with long black hair who is dressed in a simple gray tunic and brown pants.
Are we streaming?
Yeah.
Mine says thanks for watching.
Try have to reset it if you're watching the Debauchery Circus.
No, I did.
Yeah, they're streaming.
I'm up.
Anyway, the man kind of leans forward and seems to be looking in your direction. His eyes doesn't meet yours, but he's looking at you, and he whispers down to the guard, and you're just able to hear it with those keen elf ears of yours. He says, "Yes, that's the man. I'd remember him anywhere." The dwarf nods his head, and then the two of them walk back away from the cell.
Okay. I guess I'm just going to continue to try to listen for anything I could hear.
Mm-hmm. Beyond that, like, I'm just riding your 17. There is still a pair of guards that are standing outside your cell, but they don't actually talk. They glance at you and look to see what you're doing every so often, but other than that, they don't really talk to one another. Okay. Another hour goes by, and by this time, I imagine the rest of your friends are on their second pot of tea, and another guard has come in, a dwarf this time, and is actually having you go over the exact same story you gave the Luxodon earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of going on right now for the rest of you. But Veil, the door opening, you glance over to see one of the dwarven guards open the doorway to admit a gnome man with pale skin and silvery gray hair, who is wearing a set of tan clothes trimmed in green and carrying a large book in one arm. He walks over to you and he kind of walks around you in a slow circle, looking you up and down before commenting, "Well, at least they gave you a chair." And he says this in a really loud voice. He then stops right in front of you and looks at the guards and just stands there tapping his foot. The guard eventually leaves and locks the cell behind you. And then the gnome turns to you and he says, "Necthros Veil." That's all he says. "Good evening. My name is Terrence Crouppen, the Fourth, and I have been sent by the Conclave to serve as your barrister."
Excellent.
Fucking Terry Crouppen.
Yeah, the Conclave was informed shortly after your arrest. You're identified by your tattoo, and he glances down at you. I only had a moment to glance at your file. You are apparently a field researcher. Is that correct?
Yes, one of the best on the team.
Your file suggests otherwise.
Hell.
Anyway, Mr. Veil, you have been charged with the unlawful animation of sentient human remains, as well as the compulsion of a sentient being through magical means. Are you aware of these charges?
So, how could I be charged with animation of a... what'd you say, undead sentient being?
Yeah, the unlawful animation of sentient humanoid remains?
Yes, I was never... Nobody witnessed me animating said beings, but continue.
Well, from the report that I have, you were in control of said beings. You pulled them from a portable hole. Like, he's sitting here reading out of this file. He's not even looking at you at this point. And he says, being that they were in control by you, the assumption always goes that they have been animated by you, since that's how the spell works. And he drops the...
Okay. And
Now-
what is the punishment for those charges?
Depending on the magistrate and how good of a barrister you have, and he kind of taps himself on the chest.
And I look him up and down.
He says, the animation of one sentient humanoid remains can carry the penalty of up to 6 months in prison, and up to a $2,000 gold piece fine. That is, of course, the maximum. However, being as you had, I believe, a total. Did you have it all 12 of those zombies? Shadows
8.
gave you. You had 8 of them. Okay.
Yep.
So
Actually, it might even be less, but we'll say 8.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember offhand how many you animated.
I want to say it was 4, but it could be 8.
Okay. Well, either way, if you had 4 or 8 zombies animated under your control, as well as an additional, however many of the 12 zombies or 12 corpses down there, the punishment for these offenses, at the minimum, possibly 2 years of incarceration, but it could be upwards of 5, depending on, as I said, how the magistrate chooses to rule. Now, before we get any further, as your lawyer, I want you to understand that I am here to represent you, so I do need to know, where did you get the corpses?
I'm going to be honest and say that they were in the hole when I received it.
Make a persuasion with advantage.
He's not lying, technically.
That's why I'm giving him advantage.
Oh,
They already tried the footloose defense.
with a frickin' lethal weapon rolled in for flavor.
26.
He nods and makes a note, and he says, well, just sit tight. I'm going to go and speak to the magistrate. Unfortunately, with everything that happened down at the docks tonight, chances are he will be awake. Well, I'll let you know what I can come up with. But before I do, are there any extenuating circumstance? Oh, I actually forgot to talk about the other thing. But are there any extenuating circumstances we can discuss about the nature of the zombies, or why you chose to animate them?
I just reiterate what I said to the guards. Basically, this is kind of where I'm from. This is common practice, and it just confuses me that it's not the same here. There's a lot of stuff I need to learn, and then I also reiterate the fact that I played a role in the defense of the city that I believe should be accounted for when making a judgment on this case.
He kind of chuckles a little bit at that. He does tell you, I will point out to Mr. Veil that despite how long you've been on the surface, you have been a member of the Conclave for over a month and do have access to all of the information therein. The ignorance of the law sometimes gets you lighter sentences, but it never does so a second time. So you may want to avail yourself of the company resources if I'm able to get you out of this.
Can you elaborate? What do you mean by that?
He's telling you that if you're going to remain on the surface, you might want to brush up on the rules of the land you are currently in, because claiming ignorance of it won't work a second time.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's what he was saying.
Gonna drop a book of Loroupa law in your lap.
Oh, it'd be a nice read for me.
Definitely.
All Goodman as a
But the next thing he says now, as for the second charge, does the name Ramon mean anything to you?
I don't. I can't think of anyone that I know named Ramon.
Do you have in your possession? Hold on. Love it when things don't work. Do you have in your possession a statuette of yourself carved with ivory and decorated with gems?
No.
Did you, up until today?
Yes.
And did you cast a spell to compel the artist to give it to you?
No, I did not. Not to give it to me. I did, however, persuade him using some magic to make a deal that would favor both of us.
And how exactly would it have favored them?
The price was pretty reasonable. I think I saved a very minimal amount, and he did not lose much with, and I recall the statuette. It was, I'm pretty sure it was just barely good enough to pass, or was it actually
it was good enough to be the 1,500 gold that it was supposed to be worth, but you only paid like 12 or 11 or something like that for it.
Yeah, so
you got you got it cheaper for you basically you scammed him out of 200 gold.
Yeah, I wouldn't say scammed him. I would say more like bartered, and
through the compulsion of magic.
Right.
Yes, I talked him down, and we negotiated through the compulsion of magic. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose you are not aware that the use of said spells to do that sort of thing is indeed illegal.
No, was not aware.
Mm-hmm. And he just kind of had lawyer types, and the fact that you're just like pleading ignorance of the law, you can tell really irritates him.
Yeah, and I lean in a little bit and I say, whose side are you on?
Well, I am on the side of the law. I am currently being paid by our mutual organization to represent you, but let's be very, very clear here. My job is the side of the law.
Yeah, and I kind of, I say, this seems more of an interrogation.
Well, yes, it is meant to be, because I have to know exactly what's going on if I'm able to properly represent you. I'm telling you what the charges are, and I am informing of you that, yes, you are admitting to the charges, and they are very much illegal. So, since I have all the information, I can go and try to get the best possible deal for you.
And I nod and say, do as you will, and I would appreciate the help in relieving me of these confinements. And I bow my head slightly towards him.
Go ahead and make one last persuasion. Just a regular persuasion. And basically, we're going to see how well he's able to actually do based off of how good of a persuasion roll you give.
Nice.
23.
Not bad. He finally says, "Very well, Mr. Veil. I will be in touch shortly." Well, I can't promise that, but I will be in touch. He walks over. Yep.
He doesn't have anything on him that would help me help my leg situation out.
No, he absolutely does not. He like I said, he's just a lawyer.
Okay.
It has been an hour though, so you could have taken a short rest during that time.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, you can absolutely take a short rest during the time you're waiting in the cell.
I'm just gonna heal up a little bit.
Yeah, go for it. Afterwards, he knocks on the cell. He calls for the guard. The guard comes back to the cell because they gave you privacy while you were talking. They open the door. He goes through and leaves. His next stop is the rest of your group. He walks into your waiting area and he says, "Is a while later. It's been a couple hours for you guys as well. So everyone can take short rests and heal up if they need to. But eventually he comes back up. Yep, go ahead.
I just said I'll definitely take a short rest.
The gnome comes in and introduces himself to all of you after the cops walk away too. He introduces himself as Terrence Crouppen IV. He informs you, he shows you his tattoo. He is also a member of the Conclave in the legal branch, and he explains to you that he's been sent by the Conclave to deal with the fact that Veil's in prison and you are all currently being detained. He first asks whether or not any of you were placed under arrest, but you can tell him that you weren't, so that makes things a little bit easier. And he informs you that that you are all will be free to go once he leaves. Your friend Veil, however, he's facing anywhere from 2 to 5, based on everything that happened. Not only was he seen in the possession of animated corpses that were under his control, but he mind-fucked somebody in town a few weeks ago, and he has been identified by the individual he placed under compulsion, and the man is pressing charges. So, he tells you that that his next stop is to go speak with the magistrate. It is about 4 in the morning right now, so y'all might want to go get yourself some rest. But there has been some information that the cops have gotten since you all were brought to the station. So he wants to tell you about that first. He does tell you that the cops are actually looking for the gnome that you had described. There is a well-known gnome and wizard who lives here in the city, who it's not the first time he's blown shit up, so they're currently looking for him. As for the rest, the statements of what you all did at the docks have been reported to the police. There's been a lot of corroborating evidence given as far as statements go of all the part you all played. So he's hoping that the magistrate actually is going to take that into account for Veil's part. But he also tells you that chances are it's probably going to be expensive. He will get in touch with you in the morning to try to let you know what he was able to come up with. But unless you have anything else you want to give the guards, you're all free to go.
No, I mean, I guess so. This is his lawyer. This is Terry Crouppen that we're talking to, right?
This is indeed Terry Crouppen.
All right. I wonder if he's making a sandwich like none of those guys. Oh no, that's a different set of lawyers.
The
whole Terry Crouppen, for anybody watching, it's a local St. Louis thing. This is the guy that's on the fucking TV all the time with
all
his ads.
the time.
I think he even did a Super Bowl ad shitting on Stan Kroenke for letting
one
the
of
St.
those
Louis
guys
Rams
that
in.
has one of those fun numbers. 555 5555.
Yeah.
So that's who he is. He'd bring up, he goes, well, you work with the Conclave, so I'm assuming, have you heard about the mission, the diplomatic mission to go into Illamythica?
I am indeed aware that you are contracted to do a job very, very soon.
Yes. Well,
In fact,
Mr.
actually, you're by my calculations, by boat ride, you're all late.
well, no, I mean, I thought you said once we got here we'd have, like,
Right.
if we did
if
Windwalk,
boats
we'd
were
have...
our mode of
But
transportation.
he doesn't
we
know
would
who
be
you
late.
are.
I
He
understand.
doesn't know who you are.
We have another means of traveling to get there much sooner, so we should still arrive on time. We do, however, probably have to leave. I guess you said it would be 2 days from port, I think, to get there, and we have 4 days total, or I guess 3.5 now.
Yeah, more like
You know,
3 now. Yeah.
More than 3. We probably have to leave by, I don't know, this time, within 24 hours.
Right. I think what we're looking for is something like a work visa.
Is it possible? Could we say that we can guarantee that we can kill all of his friends and get rid of them, and that he does not bring them ever back into the city? Well, how about this? We don't allow him to create anymore.
We could forbid him from coming into the city if that's what you need. Just tell us how severe.
Anything we can do to, because I mean, this is kind of an international thing that we're going on. I mean, the elves have not let people into their homeland quite often. He would be rather useful on that mission.
There's a reason why the Conclave sent me.
Good.
And it's because of what's going on.
Recruitment, of course.
So, yes.
Well, we did just happen to come into quite a bit of funds on a recent mission. So he should, Mr. Veil, I guess he hasn't spent any of that, has he?
Oh, I was curious. Since you're from the Conclave, I assume they rank their adventurers. Do we have a ranking system? Is that something we're privy to?
That's not important, sir.
Polly, don't you want to know how you rank?
We are a humble group of adventurers. We do not need this. You don't have to tell us, sir, if there is one.
I wasn't planning on it.
Good, thank you, sir. You don't need to blow this man's head up any bigger than it already is. But yeah, I mean, if I hope, I mean, if they sent you, then obviously we are in good hands. We will go get some rest, and I guess, should we meet you at the Conclave tomorrow morning, or I guess later this morning, or?
Are you going to be staying in the Conclave?
You know what? That's probably best. Yes, we will just stay there for the evening.
Then I will just find you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Wish me luck, ladies and gentlemen. I have an early morning.
So, sir. Yes, you do. Good luck, sir.
He walks over and he actually pours himself a glass of tea and drinks it real quick, and then kind of just shakes his head and says, I will speak with you soon."
As if Blood's
I thought Terry Crouppen was a Diet Coke guy.
Blood be like, I can sweeten it for you.
I have no idea.
You already had him drink it. I was just
He used to come in all the time to a restaurant that my friend Mike works at.
Fair enough. Okay. But I think this is a good place to take a break. It's 8:30. So when we get back, we will find out what kind of deal poor Terry Crouppen has made for you all. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. when we last left off, Veil was incarcerated for raising zombies and compelling people to do shit, and the rest of the team, after giving a long and exhausting recounting of what happened, headed back to the Conclave. Y'all got a good night's rest. Veil, your rest is not that great. You are not provided with a sleeping pallet or anything like that. You are given a blanket and a pillow to at least make you slightly more comfortable. You're also offered water and a very simple meal while you wait. But you are left there. Other than the guards checking on you every so often, you're left there for a long rest as well.
Okay. I just need a 4-hour trance.
Mm-hmm. So for the rest of it, I imagine you're just kind of bored, sitting there, waiting in the cell.
Just thinking about reading.
I know we're supposed to meet up with the lawyer guy in the morning, but I'm still worried about Gravel. So I figured there would be a cleanup crew, and the horses in that stable might have like a stamp or a tag on them. So I want to check the stables first, see if somebody returned Gravel or something like that, just to see if he's all right.
Sure, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh, I hate those rolls. Fine. That's a 4.
So good news or bad news, depending on how you choose to interpret it, is that Gravel is not at the stable when you head over there. I imagine like the moment your group left the guard station, that's exactly what you did. You just go hurry off and look. Unfortunately, Gravel is not there.
All right. I guess I'll start heading more southern towards where I last saw him.
Now it is about 4 a.m. Just to let you know.
I thought we got our long rest already. I meant to do this.
Oh, you did this in the morning? Rest. Okay, my mistake. Yeah. My mistake. So it's the morning then, and you did that first thing. So you're heading down to the docks, and you're just kind of going to go wander about looking for the horse?
Yeah.
Okay. For this, I want a survival check.
Okay, a little better modifier on that one. 13. You head to the docks first and begin searching for Gravel. No sign of him. There is quite a bit of cleanup going on down there right now. People are still being brought in from the water. There's quite a few boats out there right now dredging the lake, and lots of guards. Don't see Gravel anywhere. I guess I will ask some of the guards doing the cleanup what they would do with a abandoned horse if one was found.
Make a persuasion check.
Persuasion. 23. You're informed that if any wild animals are found after a crisis, they're usually taken to one of the city guard stables and are kept there till they figure out who owns it. If nobody owns it, after a week or so, it's basically just kept by the city. Okay.
He tells you that if any horses were found in this area after the calamity, you should probably check at such and such place.
Sure. Excellent. That would be my next stop then, obviously. You head over to the next place, and you find it is like, imagine a medieval city impound, basically. You know, there's just a stable and some stable hands working there. There's quite a few horses. A lot of them are the guards, but you do see somebody working there. Little halfling man working with a dwarf. The two of them look up at you as you approach. What do you ask? Hi there. Excellent. I was involved with the calamity down at the waterfront the other day with the water beastie and all that stuff. I got separated from my horse. Lots of different, I call him Gravel because he's got all the freckles all over the place. Did you get any horses in by any chance?
The dwarf speaks up. We've got quite a few actually that were found after that tidal wave. There's we've got maybe half a dozen that we've just pulled in today, actually.
And by the description of what gravel looks like, do they have one by that description?
Yeah, the two kind of look to one another and they say, and how do we know that it's yours? You might just be coming up to random places and giving vague descriptions and hoping to get a free horse.
Gravel will respond to my voice. So I just need to be within eyeshot of Gravel. And he'll come. Because I've spent a lot of time training with Gravel. Hopefully this is true.
One more persuasion check.
Alright. There it goes. Oh! Oh, I rolled a net too.
Yeah, the two of them look to one another, and the dwarf is like, "What do you think? You think you want to see this?" And the halfling's like, "No, we don't need to. We got too much work to do right now." And the dwarf finally kind of is like, "Tell you what, 25 gold, and I'll let you go inside."
Not even gonna try to negotiate. I hand over 25 gold immediately. And this guy realizes, shit, I probably could have gotten more.
Yeah, he does, actually. Because like, he sat there and then thought about the math and was like, oh, shit, I can't divide this evenly amongst the two of us. But he got the 25 gold. He's like, okay. And he leads you back, and there are quite a few horses in the stable. What are you going to try to do to call out to your horse?
I'm going to switch over to Sylvan, which Gravel was the most responsive to in our training, and I'm going to make some clicks and snaps, and I'd like to roll an animal handling if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. Go for it.
28.
Like Lassie being summoned home with a whistle, you make your clicks and whistles in Sylvan, and you see a gray horse head poke out from the stable door and start looking around, and then whinnies at you.
That's my horse.
The dwarf is like, okay, fine. You know what? We'll make this simple. A simple processing fee, another 25 gold.
Small price to pay for gravel. There you go.
You clink another 25 gold in his hand, and the dwarf grins really wide, but walks over and unlatches the door and grabs the horse by the bridle and walks him out to you.
Excellent. I take Gravel back to the stable. I grab 8 beers of a specific type that I haven't used yet out of my pack.
Okay.
And I put them in my travel bag, and I head back to the Conclave.
Absolutely. And by that time, by the time you get back, the rest of you have been up long enough to get some breakfast and are currently in a meeting with good old Mr. Crouppen. You're brought into another conclave room, and Crouppen sits down and says, "Well, I have good news and I have bad news. And before I tell you what that news is, Veil, I would like for you to roll me a D100.
Oh boy.
And you get to add the number, the last persuasion number you rolled with them.
Okay.
Which was
It's
a
like a 20.
23.
Yeah.
45.
Okay, 45. He looks at each of you and he says, well, So I have good news and I have bad news for you all. The good news is I spoke with the Magister. He was already awake. He was rather irritated by the fact that he was woken up. But the fact that your group is the ones who defeated the Leviathan creature has weighed very heavily in your favor, and I've been able to negotiate your friend out of jail time. So that's the good news. The bad news is that your friend, since he is a representative of the Underdark, he first and foremost is going to have to sign a statement of apology, which acknowledges his fault at not knowing the laws of the regions he travels in, the fault of which lies with his own home government. As an ambassador to the surface, he is going to have to express remorse for his actions and promise never to do so again, as long as you remain at least within the Dauran Empire. Next off, due to the extenuating circumstances in the events leading up to his capture, and the fact that he offered no resistance whatsoever, local authority has been willing to entertain the deal for no jail time. He is going to have to pay a restitution fee of 400 gold pieces for each zombie he had animated, another 200 gold pieces per corpse that he had in his possession, which shows intent to raise more. He is also going to have to pay the artist he violated a 400 gold price for the pain and suffering and mental anguish he caused him, as well as he is going to have to return the art piece he had commissioned.
Can't you negotiate like a misdemeanor?
That's practically what
He easily got misdemeanor treatment, sir.
Very much did.
600?
400 gold per zombie. We said 4 zombies,
16.
so yeah, that's 16. Another 16 for the unanimated corpses.
So 32.
Plus,
And then you said
plus
400 to the other guy.
Yes.
Yeah, so
So
3,600.
3,600 gold. Which, like, for your group actually isn't a lot of money, but for your average person, like,
that's a huge.
that's several years' wages, comparatively.
Can I just ask? Or I'm not even here, am I?
No.
You aren't here, but for sake of brevity, like, he does, after he talks to your friends, he does come to you and explains the situation to you as well.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, isn't this guy technically still under the Geist? Because it lasts 30 days.
No, it lasts until he finishes what you compelled him to do, right?
Correct. Or 30 days.
Yeah, and he finished the statue.
Yeah, the geese you placed upon him was to finish the work and do the work in the exact amount you needed, but to only charge you 200 gold less. He completed the task. He did the task and he survived, but he knows who you are. He saw you. He had to.
That's fine.
Yeah, like there are reasons why it's going this way.
Go back to him and ask for another statue.
I mean, you absolutely can. You absolutely can.
Pain and suffering. How much to rebuy this, buddy?
God, I really hope that your next stop is just to go find this guy. I legitimately do. I'm totally there for it. But anyway, that is what you're explained, and like the item is in the cop's possession right now.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to give it to him. The cops are just going to hand it over if you take this plea deal. If you do not want to take this plea deal, you can take it to court. However, he he also tells you that chances are you probably won't be in court for at least a week.
Right.
Yeah, Veil is willing to. What was it? 3,600.
Yeah, 3,600
Total?
would be total in gold.
Okay. So that'd be.
I just like that he has to apologize. That's not. It's gonna feel like fucking just lumps
Alright,
of coal in his throat.
I'm taking 3,600 off my gold inventory.
All right.
Okay. So, in agreeing with the deal, Veil, after Krupin comes to you, it's still it's about noon when he gets to you.
Yep.
You agree to the deal. He has you sign a bunch of papers. One of the papers he does explain is it's the acknowledgement, which, like I said, it's a statement of apology that acknowledges that you're at fault and you're at fault for not knowing the laws of the regions you travel in, and it's also the fault of your government. And it specifically states that you are an ambassador from the Underdark to the surface, so you're being held accountable for your actions. And it says very specifically that you are expressing remorse for your actions and promise never to do so again, so long as you remain in the Dauran Empire. Which, I mean, for your part, it's very easy. You just go through and you sign it. It's not like you have to get up in front of people and do this. This is a closed door deal. After that,
Did you cut out?
nope, I'm still here. After
Okay,
you make that agreement and you say yes, you're willing to take the plea bargain deal. The gold is collected, and you are allowed out from your jail cell up to the main area of the guard station. Your items are given back to you, and you actually have to sign a receipt stating that you have collected all the items. The thing that is notably absent, which I'm sure you expect, is all the zombies are taken out of the portable hole. They are not there.
How about the mummies?
The money that you kept in there.
No,
it-
mummies.
Oh, mummies. No, that's what I'm talking about. All those corpses, the mummies, they're gone.
You are corpse free again.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Your lawyer does explain to you that the money that was collected from the restitution for the zombies and corpses is being used specifically to transport the corpses back to either A, place of origin, or B, they're going to be buried here. They'll be interred here, and the money that's collected is to pay for that and to pay any family members if they can find any.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'm
Out on
bummed
bail.
out about that part, but everything else is intact.
Everything else is intact. The statue's
No
obviously
statue.
gone. Your staff is there. You're still attuned to it. No issues with that. Everything else is there. That like they don't steal anything from your stuff. It's actually very meticulously recorded, and you have to sign a receipt stating that you got it all back.
Does he get any jealous looks when they hand the Staff of Power back to him?
I'm sure there's a few comments about the items you have.
Or the stack of gold.
There is also two items that are in your possessions that you did not have originally. It's two books of laws, and your lawyer
line the birdcage.
Yeah, your lawyer specifically taps him and says, I suggest you read these thoroughly if you intend to remain on the surface. Especially if you're traveling to Elmythica, you need to be very, very aware of what's going on as far as rules and regulations, because the elves will just straight up kill you. They will not take kindly to people in their lands not following their laws. So I included a book of Elmythica laws as well.
Okay.
I'll get to these books after the book I'm currently reading.
Yeah, I'm in between chapters right now, so.
Probably. But eventually you are released, and the lawyer walks you back to the Conclave. When he arrives at the Conclave with you, the last thing he says to you is, he says, "Mr. Veil, please don't make me have to represent you again. I would really rather not."
I'll noted. And are we back at the Conclave, or are we still walking?
You are back at the Conclave.
All right. And let's see. Do you know anywhere where I could get a statue of myself, custom made?
Might I suggest not doing that while you're in the town of Velena?
Okay.
That is
Veil!
you're
out!
That's
Sorry,
his that's his professional opinion.
Okay.
You might want to leave and let leave, and get to your mission, because you know, like.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna need it somewhere soon, because that's otherwise that spell's useless.
Sometimes spells just end up useless. But anyway, you are all at the Conclave, and it is middle of the afternoon at this point. We'll say probably about 1 o'clock, as you all regroup once again.
Liam goes up to Veil and he pulls up one of the sleeves on his shirt, and he shows you the tattoo he got the first time he went to prison. He goes, "Did you get any ink, or do you still need to get marked for your time in the thing? I'm so excited!"
Veil says, there wasn't really much in there besides a stool and a purple light. Did you end up finding gravel?
I did. Thank you for asking. Nobody else has been caring about gravel.
I told you they. Never mind. He'll ask. He goes, "Now, when they did the search, he goes, did they at least warm up their hands first, or did they go in cold? Just ask. You know what? You don't have to explain. I'll accept your face as they went in cold. Let's get out of here, everybody."
I pull out the book and I start reading. I ignore Blood's question.
Actually, I think we're about to take off. We were waiting on you to get here for our time to leave. I don't know if now's the time to read.
And
If
I'll
only
just
he could
take.
read in wind form.
Oh, we're going in the wind.
Yeah, we're going into wind form.
Okay. All right. Then I reluctantly put the book back and say, "All right, Eloise. Let's break wind."
And everyone looks expectantly at Eloise, who just farts really loudly.
Wow.
she's not here.
Cannon, how dare you?
She'd be
Sorry,
cool with
Alyssa.
it. She'd be cool with it.
She farts out some ice frost.
But yeah, if you're wanting to head out immediately, which is probably a smart move,
Yep.
Eloise will cast Windwalk on everybody, and as a group, you can start flying up. Oh, actually, probably before she does that, she would cast her little hand thing to.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Go.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So she casts her
combo is just badass, dude. It really is.
It makes travel easy. But yeah, with the Windwalk and the hand guiding you, you can spend the next 8 hours, because that's how long the spell lasts, traveling a ridiculous pace. I imagine your group follows the river, which is the easiest way to get to where you're going. So you fly up over the city, heading towards the bay, which you can still see boats out there dredging the bay for bodies and that sort of thing. Oh, I did forget to mention one thing. Your lawyer does inform you that the gnome has been arrested before you left.
Oh, neat.
Okay.
But it's very good.
Yep.
Yeah, he seems like he's quite a menace.
I did roll to see whether or not he would actually make it out without being caught, and he was straight up arrested. He was caught very easily. So,
I suppose when we get back from this mission, I guess if you need me to make a statement, I guess I can. I mean, since I think I was the only one that's...
pointy hat. I mean, like, it stands out.
I think I was the only one that saw him.
They took your statement when...
Okay, I didn't know, but if he's like, I mean, I could be a witness for the prosecution. This would be weird.
Yeah,
I'd be on the other side of the bench. I wouldn't.
Yeah, you never know.
I'll do whatever I have to.
We'll see what happens when you're back in Valena. But I just wanted to throw that out before you left, that he was caught.
Hopefully his lawyer is not as good as Veil's lawyer.
Veil made a decent roll. If he would have rolled lower than a 40, he would, like, if he didn't add his persuasion to that roll, he would have been fucked. But
yeah.
But yeah, he did. He got out. So anyway, you travel for your 8 hours, well into the evening. Fortunately, when you're flying high and following a glowing hand, your travel is a lot safer than it could be. You do eventually land, and during that, you do land when the spell's about to end. You can make camp. Veil has his impenetrable dome to sleep under, so travel is relatively safe. During your travel, my question is there anything anybody wants to discuss or anything they want to do in camp for that evening?
Not specifically. I do want to spend maybe like 30 minutes just kind of staring up at the moon compulsively.
Veil, as soon as Veil's done with the ritually casting Lehman's tiny hut, he's immediately going to start reading.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to say that for this evening, not counting the time you need to sleep, because you do still have to have your 4 hours, you can gain another 6 hours of reading the book.
Okay. I need to go find my notepad.
If you want to do more than that, you can stay up all night and just read.
Hold on, let me see how many...
We might have a rest in between then traveling into Illumithicus, so you might be alright.
Yeah,
I'm going to see how many hours I have on there right now, and then I'll let you know if I want to take a point of exhaustion or not.
Probably as they get closer and closer to, I guess, the little port town, before they get blood, you just see them be getting more and more, I don't know, agitated is not the right word, apprehensive. Like, he's just kind of like, he's getting nervous, because he's about to walk back into the fucking lion's den, and...
That moon's over
not
3
quite
quarters
sure what's
now,
going to
right?
happen.
So, Liam...
That's why he's staring at the moon.
Yeah, Liam, it is still a gibbous moon. I told you that the previous evening. It's and as you're sitting there staring at it, you can also see in the far distance, past the moon, there is that flickering reddish-brown light. And just a bit of a star that you can see, but as you're staring at the gibbous moon, the red dot catches your attention. And it just sits there and flickers and flares, and you're not sure why, but it's just... You can't help but keep your attention on that. Veil, now, for the book itself, you have to read it within 48 hours, correct?
No, I have to read it for 48 hours.
For 48? Isn't there like a time limit?
6 days.
6 days. Okay, yeah, you got plenty of time then. Okay.
Yeah, so it's only been 2 days, right?
It's been 2 days so far, yes.
Okay.
You're at the end of the second.
So I have, if I'm getting 6 hours tonight. I have 35 hours left to read.
So you tell me
So-
whether or not you're going to be staying up to continue to read for longer or not.
So basically, it would only give me an additional 4 hours.
It would give
correct?
you an additional 4 hours until the morning time, and then you would get a point of exhaustion. If you like, I'm sure that after, like in the morning, you get up, you're all spending some time eating breakfast. So depending on when you leave, you could theoretically get more hours in. It's up to you how you use your time. I'm just making sure we're recording it.
I'm gonna keep the trance, do my trance to get my full 8 hour, or my long rest.
Okay.
And then when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to just read.
Okay. So probably, if you all wake up and it's 9 a.m., you do still have 8 hours of travel. So it's up to your group as a whole how late, when you want to leave.
I would almost prefer to get there as soon as possible, and then he can have all the time he wants before we have to go to.
Yeah, are we traveling? Are we
Yeah,
wind
let's
walking
go.
again?
Yeah, you're wind walking again.
Okay, so I'm assuming you guys are doing the breakfast routine, so
So maybe
that-
we'll give you an extra hour then, unless
yeah, that's what I was thinking. No, an hour would be
Okay.
sufficient. So I'm at 34.
There you go. Then you all have your breakfast, get prepared for the day, and Veil gets his extra hour of reading in, and then Eloise casts her 2 spells, and you all set off. You arrive in Venuis about 7 p.m. As you're flying, you just follow that river as it meanders onward to the west. Fortunately, you don't really see a hell of a lot of stuff. There's things like giant eagles and stuff like that fly through over the forests. There's creatures that inhabit the waterways, but as long as you're staying high enough and keeping fast enough, Windwalk very much helps to get away from, or to get out of danger, or at the very least, not encounter danger. So, after 8 hours of travel, you begin to see in the distance, or actually about 7 hours travel if you want to get technical, you see in the distance the large bridge town that is Venuis. You can at first see it as just a speck on the horizon over the river. But the closer you get to it, you see these very elaborately sculpted marble and stone walkways. A gigantic bridge, in fact. I imagine the closer you get, the higher you go up to look down. And this entire city is literally built on a bridge across the river from the kingdom of Radagast in the north and to the south. Now, to the south, you can all see it came upon the horizon about 5 hours into your journey, and then just got bigger and bigger the closer you got towards Venuis. But all you see is the densest forest you could possibly imagine. Trees upon trees. It's just a field of light green and then a field of dark green. Just eclipsed through the entire landscape to the south, up to a very large set of mountains. I'll go ahead and pop up a map for you, just so you can see it. Yeah, so if you see there's Port Valena to the far right side of the map, and then there's the lake, and then you follow the river down, and there's Venuis. It's actually across the river itself, but I have it a little lower than that. Mm-hmm. But then, here's Ilmithica. There's Ilmithica to the south of Venuis, and it is just this densely packed forest. that encompasses most of that side of the Margarden Federation. You know that to the south of the river you've been flying over is still the Margarden Federation. To the north is the Kingdom of Radagast. And there's Ilmithica, just this dense layer of forest that goes as far as you can see, even as high as you are. But as you fly down towards the city itself of Venuis, you see a beautiful city. Most of the buildings are stone, very white stone, with shingled roofs of red and brown, mostly clay made. Like, imagine the city of Florence. No, not Florence. I'm blanking. The Italian city with all the canals.
Venice?
Venice, yeah. Venice. Yeah, Venice. Imagine looking at Venice from the top looking down, and that's kind of what you're getting for the city. It's just a gigantic bridge about 7 miles across that is the entire city is built upon. It's a huge structure. It's very beautiful, and the closer you get to it, you can see the architecture is of a style most of you have never seen before. The buildings themselves are almost graceful in appearance, as though both elf and dwarf worked together to build this. And actually, a lot of the races across Loroupa itself built this city. You can see a lot of trade ships coming into the ports of the city and leaving away, going towards the west and towards the east along the river. This is a huge trade hub, and you all know it's actually the only trade hub that the elves trade out of. So everyone stops here, and that's why Port Valena is such a big and important city, because it's the first major stop for trade to the rest of the Dauran Empire. Now, the closer you get, the question I really have for you is, since you're flying, you can decide what side of the river you want to land on and enter the city. Do you land on the side of Radagast, closest to where you're from, or do you land on the opposite, closer to the Ilmithica side?
We can't really talk in mist form, can we?
Not really, no.
I guess, did we have any instructions on where exactly inside Venuis we were supposed to be? I'm sure
where
we did.
Where would the hand take us to? I think we'd probably go to.
Honestly, the hand, it goes towards a location that's on a map. So it's not like it chooses sides. You are traveling on the northern side of Dauran, so that's the side that you've kept to for the most part. But you can choose to go across the city and land on the other side. It's just up to you.
Okay. I would assume we'd land on the side of the river.
Yeah, the side
on the northern side,
where
like
we're
we're
going.
at.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no point in us having to cross the river.
Yeah, I don't think we want to surprise anybody. We've had experience with that in the past. Maybe just apparate a little bit before the front gate and walk, normal like.
Okay. Yeah, you absolutely can. You can land just a little bit to the north of the city in a small clearing and land there, and the spell fizzles out, and then walk about 15 minutes to get to the town. The town, you asked the question, were you told where to go? And the answer is actually yes. You were given some instructions. You were told to meet the Conclave party at the Inn of the Slumbering Tree.
I don't like the name of that, but yeah, we'll go there. I guess we would maybe go outside the gates and then walk in. And once we get inside, then we'll go to
Yeah,
that
we
place.
got.
Oh yeah, yeah, and like getting into the city, You're questioned. You're checked over by the guards. You don't have any trade goods or anything like that. You don't have any cards. You're just 5 people walking up to the city. So they ask you your business, and if you're honest with them and just tell them you're here to see the Conclave group, that you're a part of it, you're let into the city without really too much of a delay. Yeah. You make your way into the city, and it is beautiful. Tons and tons of buildings, lots of different architecture, but all of it seems to have that same uniform, almost natural flow to them. Like, you don't see a lot of harsh edges or angles. It's all curved and rounded, and it's very soft and easy on the eyes. You ask around, and the Inn of the Slumbering Tree is one that's not far from the marketplace. And you're also told it's not far from the embassy. So they tell you, just look for the embassy, and you'll find it. And so you start heading off into the city. Lots of people. It is, by this point, around 7 o'clock in the evening. And a lot of people are out in the streets. Most of them seem to be very calm, merrymaking, chill people. You see a lot of different races. Dwarves, humans, halflings, half-elves. You see a small group of elves, lavishly dressed, walking down the street. And Blood, you especially spot them. Oh, yeah. They are all very typical of a high elf. 2 men, 2 women, tall, very thin, very angular face, almond eyes, long tapered ears poking out from very platinum blonde hair. All of them seem to be wearing very fine clothes. Tabards and tunics and things for the men, long gowns for the women. All 4 of them have quite a few gems on them as well. And you all, as you stop and watch, you also notice that there's a couple humans, toughs, walking behind them. They're armed to the teeth, and they have their heads on the swivel, as though they're protecting the 4 elves, and they're not afraid to show the fact that they will straight up hurt anybody that bothers them.
Hello?
But apart from that...
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Liam's probably gonna lean over to Blood and be like, I feel like I'm rather underdressed.
You're gonna feel that way with these people, trust me. Nothing you can do will ever change that.
But they could clothe me better.
They would still look better, bud.
Not without my hair.
I prefer yours, trust me.
Eventually you do find the Slumbering Tree Inn, which is a tall 4-story structure. It's very big. And it is completely done up in that white stone, dark red roof shingles, and a large sign with a tree on the sign. But there's a pair of eyes drawn on it, but they're closed, like, you know, the comic book half circle with lashes coming down. That's on the tree itself. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple little Z's going up from it, like, it's a slumbering tree.
Alright.
So, what would you all like to do?
Look at Apollyon and go, I can't believe you tried to take credit for killing the thing all by yourself.
Well, you know what?
I don't know what, tell me.
I was doing some heavy lifting there, alright? Dealt him some good damage. You guys helped too. But you know, one of these times, I just want you guys to sit back and relax, and I'll defeat the monsters on my own.
Is that what
Yeah.
you want? I'll keep that in mind.
Blood by a lawn chair somewhere.
Oh, sure, they sell those all over the place. You can find one right down the street.
His Apollyon watching chair.
Am I able to start reading?
Well, I can pop out my boat and we can all sit in the boat and watch Apollyon kick ass.
So you've just had your nose in the book the whole time, the moment you got into the city?
Yeah, if that's all right. I mean, I could. I handed Blood a tether, and it's just basically a thin silk rope.
It's like a
And,
leash.
It's attached to. I'm holding it with my hand, and I give it to Blood just so he could. I don't trip over anything, and I'm just reading. Like I saw none of the architecture.
I'm super
Probably
I
take turns passing the leash around.
tempted to
I'm
let
hearing-
it trip, but then I'm also like,
I'm
nah,
hearing
I can't.
I'm hearing oohs and ahs of everyone remarking on the architecture, and I'm just buried in the book.
Couldn't care less. I love it.
Okay.
If you'll allow it.
Yeah, you
Matt.
can. Yeah, you can be led around on a tether, and well, sure.
Hold the book with one hand, the other with a leash. Yeah, I see it happening.
I mean, you've only been in town for like. So you were waiting in line for about an hour. So go ahead and add one more hour to your book reading, and then you've been walking around the city for about another 30 minutes before you find the inn. So you've got 30 minutes right now.
I don't know. I kind of feel like walking and reading, even it's still two things at once, and that maybe be reading at half speed.
So I would agree with you, except for like a month ago, I literally saw a dude bro jogging down the street, shirt off, headphones on his head. He had a book in one hand, and he was running like that. I swear to God. And I stopped in the car. I pulled over to the side and watched him as he ran by. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Am I high right now? What the hell am I seeing? But yeah,
Wow.
I did actually see that. I did not see him run into anything, which I was really disappointed about. But I will absolutely allow if because have you ever gone to a mall and you saw a mother walking around her toddler, and the toddler has a harness on and a leash and like she's dragging this kid along? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's basically what's
Vale's
happening
got-
right now.
Yeah, Vale's got no shame being a leash kid.
Yeah. So
He's a
absolutely.
latchkey kid.
God damn. But anyway, yes, he can absolutely do that.
Okay.
But you are standing now outside the inn, which is a kind of lively place. You can hear a faint music coming from it. A lot of people in there. You can there's like windows all over the front, and you can see there's a lot of people down in that common room.
I'll look over to Blood. They're not against beer in here, are they?
I don't think so.
It's all
Well,
non-alcoholic.
The
We might still be able to get along.
The elves drink, and we're not in Illamithia yet.
Well, to be fair, I've never seen an elf before myself, so those four that just
He's just
passed
gonna-
us.
He did.
Right.
He's gonna point. He goes, "Dude, you've been
Right,
walking
that-
with an elf for
That
4
was
months.
the first. That was those four. The first four.
You know, Vale is an elf, right?
Half, he
He's
says.
he's
you
elvish, and he's gray. He's not exactly the same thing as what I just saw.
You've got enough dick in you to count as an elf. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Let's unpack
I'm not
that for a
Italian.
minute.
What?
What
He
the
didn't
hell?
mean physically. He meant more metaphorically.
Christ.
Trust me, you're gonna fit
Anyway,
it.
I
You're
want
gonna
to
fit it
try
perfect
some
with
elven
that.
beer. Let's get inside.
I mean, they might have. You're probably gonna get wine more than you're gonna get beer, but they're more
I'm-
Why don't we-
sophisticated.
Why
I'm
don't we let the
willing
menu
to
be the
accommodate to
design?
the locals.
They're more sophisticated than us Loas.
Okay. Well, you head up the steps towards the double doors of the inn and make your way inside. The inn, like I said, is jam-packed. There's a lot of people in here. Most of them are very well-dressed. People of all types. You see Dragonborn, no tail. You see dwarves. You see halflings. You see some, at least 4 full elves at one corner of the bar at the far side, keeping more to themselves than anything else, but they are all drinking from very fine glass goblets. That's the word I was looking for. The person behind the bar is a very tall, gray-skinned man that, as you approach the bar itself, you notice he's a Goliath.
Okay.
He has no hair, as most Goliaths don't, nor a beard, but his clothes are very nice as well. Like, imagine your old school bartenders with the vest and the white shirt and the things holding up their sleeves and all that, and big black apron. That's this guy, but he's big and he's built, and he's got some big ass freaking arms, as Goliaths tend to do. And you can tell that he probably acts as the bouncer as well as the bartender. But
Sure.
but he smiles at you all as you approach, and he says, Welcome to the Inn of the Slumbering Tree. My name is Garvok. What can I get for you?
Garvok, good to meet ya. What's the strongest beer you've got?
The strongest beer I've got. Well, let me think. I think I do have some of that dwarven stout from 19... I'm sorry, I'm thinking wrong date. From 1153. It's been fermenting a long time. It's got some nice head on that.
Okay, that's a bit too much. I know the dwarves, and I'm not ready to party that hard. What's the strongest elven stout you've got?
Oh, elven stout. No, my friend, elves don't make stout. That's a dwarven business. But if you're looking for some strong elven drink, we have some lovely elven apple brandy that is a good 90 proof at least.
I'm willing to try the local brew. Absolutely, that sounds good.
Besides,
Give me 4.
4, absolutely. That will be 100 gold.
Excellent. Must be good, right?
Indeed that is. Do you want all 4 in like one, or you want 4 glasses?
4 glasses.
Okay. So he pulls out some very thin, fine glass, actual blown glass glasses, and sets them down on the table in front of you. He then begins weaving a spell and prestidigitates ice cubes in the 4 glasses.
Shit.
He then takes a bottle off the top shelf and he pours it, and it is almost candy apple red as he pours these 4 portions into these 4 rocks glasses. The stopper on the top of it is actually a literally golden stopper of an apple. And he puts it back down and he says, those elves, now, if you're looking for mead or you're looking for cider, they can make some fine stuff. They also do wine, but their brandies, their brandies are the way to go. And he pushes the 4 of them to you.
Excellent. I know me, Apollyon, and Eloise will partake.
You know Apollyon's gonna break that glass, right? Just telling you now.
Apollyon has a sense of control that I don't think you fully appreciate. He's not gonna crush the wee glass, are ya?
Are you going to take one, Apollyon?
I'd almost ask for a roll, but I know I can't.
No, I want
another player to make a roll.
I want to see this roll. I would very much like Apollyon to pick up the glass by making for me a sleight of hand check.
Fight him. All right.
Watch, he's gonna fucking crit this shit.
He does love to roll. He doesn't care what it is. I love
20.
this.
Oh shit, it was good.
Nice.
So not only does Apollyon very gently reach down and takes this rocks glass, but as he holds it up, his finger is definitely up.
Liam looks over to Blood and he's all like, I know we didn't set it, but that's 5 gold right there. Come on.
He'll
Hand
give
it over.
to him. He'll give it to him.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that'll be the standard wager from now on.
So each one of you, because I assume Veil isn't drinking.
No,
he
we've
doesn't.
got a 4th shot that Veil's not drinking, but Blood might.
He will reluctantly grab it.
Yes!
Vale's
And
watching
he'll-
blood.
He's like, I will do this with you once.
Alright.
Okay, so I assume all of us here at the table have sampled 90 proof alcohol before.
Dude, I got 100. Why? I had 118 proof fucking whiskey until my 14-year-old stole it, drank a third of it, and then poured the rest out because he's a bastard.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's strong. That's a strong proof.
It is a strong proof. It burns. No matter how refined and smooth it is, it still burns. However, apart from that, it is an apple brandy. It is sweet. It is viscous going down. But that burn hits. But damn, that is good. Like it's taken from apples that you can just tell are late harvest, that were pulled off the tree at the very end of the season. So all of the sugar content is just there, and even probably like a first frost had happened, and all of the fruit got frosted over and then was
Pulled from
picked.
the angry
Yes,
orchard.
yes, it's like. If you know your brandies, you know what I'm talking about. It's some good shit, and I've had some good brandies.
Alright.
But goddamn, it is incredible, and it goes straight to your head. It warms the belly, it warms the throat. Eloise probably has a little bit of a coughing fit, which just sends just flecks of frost out all over the table. But there it is, and it's good. And Vale gets to read for another 10 minutes.
Yeah. Alright, so we're meeting Master Ohm, Master Ohm, right?
He should
Somewhere.
be, in this building. I guess we could ask the bartender, be like, hey, ask him if they know where the Iridite Conclave contingent is.
Yep. So yeah, if you ask the bartender, he tells you that the Conclave, they actually rented out the entirety of the second floor.
Thank you very much.
You said Ohm. Sorry, what were you saying, Liam?
Does that mean I could have charged this to the floor?
Well, are
like
you
the group account?
are you members of the Conclave group?
I pull up my
We
sleeve.
are.
Absolutely. By the way, that was spectacular.
And he nods knowingly, like, yeah, I know it's good. But if you're looking for Master Ohm, I think that's the guy in charge. His name's on the account. Yeah, he's in the master suite on the second floor.
Oh, then best not to charge it to him. We don't want to do that.
You already...
He shrugs. Yeah, he shrugs. He don't care.
Blood will start making his way up there.
Yeah, I'll follow him, but I'll slide the bartender a 5 gold tip, the 5 gold I just won from Blood.
Yep. Yeah, he absolutely takes that and puts it in his pocket. Making your way through the crowded common area, you do see like quite a few Conclave members there as well. You can spot them at this point. They all tend to wear the same colors, at least the tan and the green. So if you're scanning the crowd with just your passive perception, you would spot a couple groups of Conclave monks sitting down there. Making your way to the second floor, you go up the stairs down to at the southern side of the building, and make your way up. And if you try to enter, like it's basically a stairwell that goes up and goes to a second floor, and then there's another stairs going up to a third, and there's a door there. If you open the door immediately, you are stopped by a pair of Conclave monks. They look you over and they ask you what your business is, and it's like you can go ahead and introduce yourselves, but you're Conclave members, so.
Point, I'm keenly aware of the fact that I have a silk shirt that was recently drenched in salt water and is probably tearing to ribbons at this point, honestly.
It's probably not comfortable, at the least, yeah.
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 I do not fit it.
But if you introduce yourselves and show your tattoos, they've been waiting for you, so they're like, oh, yes, Faab Five, we've been expecting you. We actually expected you here this morning.
Yes, we were. The port, I don't know if you've heard, was attacked. We were delayed.
Oh, the port was attacked? No, we didn't hear about that. What happened?
Well, a little
It was
known
crazy.
wizard.
The monster.
Apparently, he is a known menace. One of his conjuring spells went wrong, and a leviathan attacked the port. A pretty extensive devastation was done to the dock area.
They both seem surprised. Apollyon, what were you saying?
He was just taking classes.
Just said I defeated the monster. Don't worry about it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. They're like, whoa, what? That's crazy. We're gonna have to check in about that more. They'll probably question you for a little bit before, unless you try to push past them, because they're all Conclave monks. Of course, they want to know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
But you are told that Master Ohm is here. He's having dinner right now in his room. You do have a room set aside, a single large room with four beds in it, or 5 beds in it, that the Conclave had set aside for your use while you're here. And so the monks walk you over to it, and one of them fishes out a key and opens the door and passes that key to you.
Is that bunk beds, or is it just a big freaking room?
It's just it's your standard hotel room. It's probably like 20 by 20, and it's just got
your
5.
Standard hotel room has 2 beds, maybe.
Okay, fine.
5 beds is big.
Fine. So it's actually really fucking cramped in there with 5 beds.
It'd be like
All right.
bunkhouse.
That's what I wanted to know. All right.
The whole room is one big bed.
Yeah, the whole room is one big bed. It's just fucking. It's just a polyamorous orgy room. That's what it is.
We don't even have our own bathroom.
No, you do not have a bathroom. It is definitely a communal bathroom. But fine. There's 5 little. There's 2 big beds and 3 little bunks, and it's all crammed into one room. However you want to envision it, bro. It don't matter to me.
couple of pull away things that they come when you had kids when you were a
Yeah,
kid. When
yeah.
you go to the house, they bring that little like hideaway bed or whatever.
Exactly. There you go. But it's a room that you have available to you. If you like, do you want to? If you're wanting to talk to Ohm, or are you wanting to stay there? Like, what are you wanting to accomplish for now?
I suppose talk to him and just see what the itinerary is going to end up being.
Okay. So you head over to speak with Master Ohm, who you tell the monks that you want to do so, and they're fine with it. They knock on the door, they check in, then you're led inside, and Ohm is actually sitting at a table with an elf. This is an elven man. He has a long, narrow face, dark hair, which is surprising because most high elves tend to have blonde or brown hair, but his is quite a bit darker than most. It's almost like black. It's brown, but it's almost black. It's so dark. And Master Ohm looks at you all and he says, welcome, boys, and Eloise. I was expecting you earlier today, but it's good to see you. Allow me to introduce to you all Ambassador Ambrosia of the Kingdom of Ilmithica. And the elf, he stands up, and he's actually quite tall. He's about 6.5 feet tall, almost as tall as you, Apollyon. But much, much thinner. And he's wearing some very, very elaborate clothes, that very fine, noble garb that is in shades of green and blue. He nods to each of you and he says, "Welcome to Venuis. I assume you are also members of Master Ohm's party. It will be interesting to get to know you on our trip into the country." And he seems like a very dour man, very just like he speaks very, very matter of factly, but very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just very, very whatever.
Carefully calculated.
Yeah, you could absolutely say that.
Subdued, maybe, kind of like he's just quiet, reserved, kind of, or
more like ineffectual. Like he's not one to really overly express his emotions. That's more kind of what I was meaning. Yeah, a little bit. And I'm sure, Blunt, you recognize the name. Out of character, this is absolutely Fontaine's father.
Oh.
But you wouldn't know that.
No.
But I think that's actually a good place to end things for this evening. Ohm's welcomed you. He has some questions he's going to ask, but we'll get to that next week.
I can't believe I look this shabby in front of Ohm. God damn it.
So I'm at the last time I checked when we were at the tavern, it was or at the inn, it was 40 minutes of reading. Are we gonna round that up from now to the full hour?
Sure, why not?
Alright, so that's gonna be...
Yep, we can add one more. You can add that full hour onto it.
Right, so
Well,
it's gonna be 32 hours.
We will get into the bulk of Ilmithica tomorrow, or next Monday.
fuck, I can do it tomorrow.
Alright.
No, got other games to play tomorrow, but those aren't streamed.
God, just like Joe looks irritated every time you talk about elves. Like, not even like blood, just like Joe's all like, fucking elves. Every
You
single
gotta play
time
it
you
out.
bring it up.
I'm playing my character.
Absolutely. Well, tune in next week, everybody, when we find out what happens as the Faab Five make their way into the xenophobic Kingdom of Ilmithica. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and we'll find out what everybody gets to learn next week, so it should be a lot of fun. So on behalf of everyone here in the Faab Five, I just want to say thank you very much for watching. If you're watching us on Twitch, please follow us, and if you really want to, subscribe. It definitely would help It definitely helps us out, everybody who does so. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. It helps out the algorithm a lot. It helps out even more if you comment. So once again, on behalf of everybody, just want to say thank you again for watching. Have a great evening, and we'll see you next week. Good night.